Isagi looks at the front three and feels a thrill run down his spine. The boys' eyes look bored and dead. They've won every single game so far, they said, Bachira says to Isagi. Does Kira know any of their weapons? Isagi asked. Nah, but he talked about our new playstyle and formation. Apparently we're going to utilize all our weapons? And where'd he put me? Isagi replied, still looking at Nagi who stood in the striker position. Bachira chuckled a little. It makes me jealous to say, but you're in the striker position, straight up top. So, they've won all 3 games so far, just like us, huh? Isagi says. Uh-huh, it should be fun, don't you think? Isagi continued to look forward without replying, but Bachira spoke again. Well, let me tell you something a little bit more exciting. That boy with the dead eyes, you know him? No. You really don't listen to anything, do you? He's the top scorer in the whole stratum. Wait, what? He's on 13 goals and you're on 9. You scored a hat-trick in both of the last matches and 2 in the first, Bachira explained. What about the other one? What was his name again? You know, we played in the first match, that guy. Baro? Oh, him. It looks like he's been a beast since that game with you. He's on 10. Isagi clenched his fist tight. So these guys have more goals than me? Bachira chuckled again. You see, this is why I love you. You really do have that monster in you. And it's a lot more scary than mine. Everyone gets in formation and both teams are ready for kickoff. The whistle blows and Nagi passes the ball to Ryo, who immediately dashes towards Kira, attempting to take him on. But Isagi comes into the equation and the two lock him down. Get the hell back! Isagi exclaims to Kira, who claps back. This is my position, Isagi, move! As Ryo saw the two caught off guard by each other shouting, he passes the ball to Zantetsu, who collects it with a nice touch. He runs at blitz speed as he scouts for the tall white-haired boy. As soon as he sees those dead eyes, he whips in the ball to the center, and no one could believe the pace at which these 3 could move. Nagi leapt so high above all their heads and touched it magnificently, and just as he fell to the ground, he shot the ball and it flew into the goal just like a jet. Ah, Ryo, you said this would be fun, but I'm actually just getting bored again. When does this end? Ryo, Nagi, and Zantetsu had an undeniably good chemistry and they worked together fast. Kira observed closely and howled to Isagi in rage. Do you see now their level of football? Do you see why they scored? Because they play football together. Look at their link-up play. It only took a couple of passes for them to score. It's like you want us to lose this match. Yeah, but there's a difference. The white-haired kid, everyone on the pitch moves for him. He's a real striker, Isagi replied. Ah! Kira exclaimed, but Bachira dashed in between them and stopped the two from fighting. Bachira, I'm sure you can tell, but we need to break that chemistry between them. There is no way we're winning this match if they continue like that, Kira said. Oh, I'm sure we can, Bachira replied. What makes you say that? Kira responded. Isagi is excited, that's why. 1-0 to Team Z, and Isagi is excited as he looks at the bored face of Nagi. That's Nagi, the highest ranked of this stratum. Another genius who's bored of football because he's too good. How good is this kid? I need to find out. Kickoff starts again and Bachira gives the ball to Isagi, who attempts to challenge Nagi head on. He dashes forward to Nagi to attempt to take him on. Ryo and Zantetsu were about to both jump in and lock down Isagi from the left and right. But Nagi suddenly exclaimed no. They had never heard Nagi react like that throughout the whole of Blue Lock, and out of shock, they backed down. Nagi and Isagi locked eyes with a glint in their pupils burning. Isagi dropped his shoulder left and then dashed right just before Nagi could catch on. I've seen that move before, but I've never seen it perfected, he says as Zantetsu dashed after him. Come on then, he said to Isagi as Kira exclaimed for a pass behind. But Isagi ignored Kira and said, I'd rather pass to anyone but you, and he backheeled it to Kunigami, who collected it. But Ryo tackles him. Aren't you a bit too out of your shooting range? He says and then dashes through the team as Kunigami chases him down. Kira appears from out of nowhere and swipes the ball from his feet. A spark lights out of his eyes for a split second as he catches Isagi running through the defense. But Isagi keeps quiet and Kira notices that he's aiming for their blind spots. From the corner of the pitch, Kira whips it in pure instinct and it soars over to Isagi. But the only problem was that the ball was just behind Isagi's head. So he had only one thing he could attempt to do. He jumped in the air in insane speed and spun his body back. In mid-air, he slams the ball and it zips into the top corner as he falls to the ground. "This kid never fails to impress me," Ego said. The whole pitch was surprised, but they ran to Isagi to celebrate. Nagi looked at Isagi from the front of the pitch and stood there frozen like a statue, but he crossed his eyebrows. He looked at Isagi with a piercing glare and wiped his mouth. "So, that's how it is," Nagi said, and the kickoff started again. Ryo dashed again to challenge the defense. He runs at Isagi but quickly passes it to Zantetsu. He uses his burst of acceleration to rip through the team and scouts for Nagi as he whips in the ball, but Kuon leaps from the floor and breaks off the chemistry as he headers the ball away. Bachira collects the ball and uses his dribbling to run down the pitch. A burst of excitement runs down his spine as Isagi shouts for a pass. He roulettes a player and scouts for a player in the box, but Isagi is marked fully, and it seems that Team V have caught on to how good Isagi was and was locking him down. He couldn't pass to him even if Isagi was screaming for the ball, but he sees someone else running for it. He whips in the ball to Gagamaru, who watches the ball fly over his head. "Can I make it?" he thinks, and he leaps in to head the ball, but it hits the post and bounces off. "Hey Nagi, aren't you excited?" Nagi didn't reply. He looked focused for the first time. His eyes looked driven to play football, and a shiver went down his spine as he looked at the change in Nagi. He then looked over at Isagi. Is that how good this guy is? He's even made Nagi excited to play football? After a series of plays, Ryo received the ball once again. On instinct, he booted the ball all across the field on a last resort counter-attack as it flew over everyone's head to Nagi. "Did he just copy our tactic?" Kira exclaimed. The ball spun fast backwards and no one could believe it. Raichi attempted to lock down Nagi, but on the first touch, he tapped it over his own head. The ball flew mid-air and all the senses in his body were tingling. He could feel his body moving on its own, and when he bicycle kicked it in, it flew into the goal. Unsavable. 2-1. Everyone shivered in fear. First Isagi, now Nagi? Ryo chuckled. Are we even part of this game anymore? The game continues as usual, and the teams are going back and forth across the pitch. Zantetsu and Ryo are playing tiki-taka with each other. Zantetsu whips it in to Ryo, who collects the ball, but he quickly sends it up as the two run up the field. Zantetsu glares down the pitch and sees sight of goal. His eyes are on goal and he takes a shot that swerves to the top corner, but Kuon saves it when he again headers the ball away. And just when Team Z collect the ball, it's sent to an open Isagi. Or so he thought. Just when Isagi got the ball, a defender came sliding in with his studs and took out his ankle. Now that's what you call a Brexit tackle, Ryo said when the whistle blew. Red card! Henri exclaimed through the microphone when Team V began to howl at the speaker. Nagi, Zantetsu and Ryo kept quiet knowing it was a dirty tackle. Isagi tried to stand but nearly fell back. Kunigami quickly caught him and told him to chill. There's no way I'm hopping off the pitch after he did something like that, Isagi said, referring to the bicycle kick Nagi performed. You gotta sit it out, Kunigami said, but Kira cut in. Let him go. He will learn that he can't play, Kira said, and Isagi took one step, but it was like a lightning bolt shot through his body when he fell to the floor immediately in pain. See? You can't play. Now stop being stubborn and get off the pitch. Bachira and Gagamaru helped Isagi off the pitch, and they were now left with no striker with a 10v10. Alright, listen, I am still captain of the team, so me and Bachira will shift to the two strikers, and Kunigami, you stay behind us in a cam position. We need to utilize your shots. Bachira, me and you will also shift to the left and right wings. Aye aye, Captain, Bachira replied. Kira looked at Nagi with a glint in his eye, but Nagi said something which infuriated Kira. Ryo, Isagi is off the pitch. This game's gonna be boring now. Kira held his fist tightly. These guys think they can just disregard me as a player, huh? I'll show them now the true meaning of true football.